Things just keep getting more exciting when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 and RPGs that could hit the system. We've got a bunch of awesome content to go over. This one I'm super hyped about, guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first topic here. And this is something that's really good for the future of the Nintendo Switch 2 in the short and long term when it comes to third-party developers. In a recent Borderlands 4 creator voice video posted on the official Nintendo of America YouTube channel, Mr. Randy Pitchford himself talked about the Nintendo Switch 2. And yes, he's a little bit eccentric and kind of crazy and maybe exaggerates things just a bit, and he's kind of a character in his own self, but at the same time, he's confirmed a number of different things in his opinion about what's happening with the Nintendo Switch 2 power, talking about how, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's a very powerful machine, bleeding edge of tech. But the biggest thing that he said from this video was that usually they port the games over to a Nintendo platform. He's talking about Borderlands 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel, the games that came to the Nintendo Switch 1, or even other platforms that they've worked on in the past. It's a port studio, it's something else that's getting it done. But this time, they're actually creating Borderlands 4 for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's not a port from something else, which usually with ports, they're not going to be good as games that are created while the game is in development. Sometimes you can have some awesome stuff done, don't get me wrong, but it's always better to have it done as the game is being made. And they're not using a port studio for it. They're creating it themselves, which is 100% different from what we saw on the Nintendo Switch 1, where many big developers just got port studios to make their games for them, often at much decreased quality overall. Now, this is very good, like I said, for the short and long-term future, because third-party developers are seeing it as a viable machine and good enough to get the job done to bring over their games. Now, what's presumably shown in this video is actual footage of Borderlands 4 running on the Nintendo Switch 2, and if that's the case, it is looking very good. Now, what we've seen so far with Nintendo Switch 2 is that Nintendo's actually taking the Switch 2 versions of games and making sure people are seeing those. They're not taking PlayStation or Xbox or PC, because you can do direct comparison so far and see, okay, there might have been a little bit different there from that trailer or from this other footage. We saw that with Cyberpunk, we've seen it with Split Fiction and other games, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, for example, as well. So what we're seeing is that Nintendo is going into this saying, hey, look, these are how the games are going to look. This is what we're doing here with this system. Yes, it's not as powerful as PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, but with the newer, more efficient architecture, DLSS, and of course coming off the back of the Nintendo Switch 1, a massive sales success, you're seeing developers put their best foot forward for the Nintendo Switch 2 from what we've seen so far. And if this system takes off and sells, you can bet we're going to see more developers actually try with their in-house teams and get their games up and going on the Nintendo Switch 2. These creator voice videos have been fantastic because it gives us an idea of what they're thinking and what they're doing for these games, and you're seeing the sheer difference compared to the Nintendo Switch 1, whereas this series couldn't even exist because there was no major third-party developers that had anything at the launch or even within the first number of months for the Nintendo Switch 2 outside of Mario plus Rabbids. I mean, there was a couple AA support, Disgaea, there was some other stuff, but there really wasn't a ton. So that is the main difference here. And once again, a very good thing that Mr. Randy Pitchford had to say about them creating the game for the system and not porting it. So very good as well. But what's also very good is all the new users that are going to create their subscriptions to this channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop, as we've got a bunch of great Nintendo Switch 2 content coming up. Now, let's get into another incredible experience that I've been playing myself on PlayStation 5 Pro, and this game absolutely needs and should come to the Nintendo Switch 2, and that is Clare Obscure Expedition 33, many people's frontrunner for Game of the Year 2025, mine included. Now, in a recent interview, the CEO of Samfall Interactive, Mr. G. Rochi, seems intrigued by the possibility of a Nintendo Switch 2 version of Clare Obscure Expedition 33. But the thing about this, based off of what I heard and what I heard someone translate it to, I think there might be a little bit of, I would say, innuendo or a little bit more oomph to what the message originally says. And I'll talk about why I think that. That's just speculation, but I'll talk about why I think that after I'm done reading what was said here in this interview on the Mr. MV channel. Now, when asked about the Nintendo Switch 2, here is what he had to say. Quote, "Well, at this point, considering the success of the game, it kind of changes everything. So clearly, it's too early to say, but we're kind of in a situation where ... let's say there are a lot of opportunities showing up, way too many at once, and we're figuring out what we'll go for and what we won't. But yeah, it's definitely something that could be interesting." So that right there, that statement, and if you hear it live, he's speaking French, so you can't get it completely in terms of things, but that statement there, especially with the ... makes me think there is a ... Nintendo representative, Nintendo's third-party guy that's already been talking or contacted them about Expedition 33 coming over to Nintendo Switch 2. This game, like I made in a video a little bit ago, would be perfect for the system. The HD Rumble 2, that would be great for the haptics that the PS5 version has. You look at the characters, you look at even the plot. People that play Xenoblade, people that play Fire Emblem, if you like Paper Mario, these are all multi-million selling RPGs on the Nintendo Switch platform, on Nintendo platforms. I have no question that if Clare Obscure Expedition 33 came to the Nintendo Switch 2, it could be a million seller just on that platform alone when it's all said and done. Absolutely, I can think that. This is the perfect type of game to bring over, and you bet Nintendo's big third-party guy that they actually got from PlayStation is already on the case here, and that's why he was being very, I would say, precise, and actually had to stop just a little bit in his wording. That's why I said there's a little bit more innuendo there. He's saying, hey, look, the game's selling well. We have a lot of opportunities that we wouldn't have if we didn't sell this well. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Not going to say there's something, but yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, that is absolutely leading on to believe that. Now, here's another thing, guys. Remember, this game is on Game Pass. They got their Game Pass bag, and that's awesome and everything. But still, effectively, when it comes to consoles, for purchase at least, it's only on one platform. It's not on the PlayStation 4. It's only on PlayStation 5. Now, there is PC, and people are buying it on there. I'm not saying PC doesn't count, because obviously it does. But what I'm saying is that there is an extra alley for revenue in the console market. Add in the Nintendo Switch 2 with a decent install base as well. If this is announced maybe at the end of the year or next year and it launches then, I think that there will be enough people on the system that'll be excited and looking forward to a great JRPG style of game with a really cool battle system with the parry mechanic and dodge and the characters and the story. If you love Xenoblade and kind of the stuff that happens in that game, especially Xeno 3, this is going to be right up your alley overall. So absolutely, I think Clare Obscure Expedition 33 is happening on the Nintendo Switch 2. I think he's kind of leading to believe that, but he didn't want to say anything. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Nintendo's people are already on it. And yes, this game is awesome and absolutely worth it if it does come over to the Nintendo Switch 2. So I think that's going to happen. Now, let's talk about another game that I think that's going to happen with the Nintendo Switch 2. And essentially, once again, kind of teasing things, is Dragon Quest 12. Now, in a recent talk at the Comic-Con, Napoli franchise creator Yuji Horii finally talked about this game a little bit more with Game Reactor, talking about how hard the team is working. Quote, "Yes, indeed. I can't say anything. I apologize. I am making it, putting lots of work into it. I can only say that the next work will be great too, working really hard. Please look forward to it, is the only thing I can say." Now, he also appeared to be hinting towards the Nintendo Switch 2 as a console that it could come to. He said, quote, "Yes, I believe it could be compatible with Switch 2 as well." So he's definitely walking on the eggshells there. I firmly believe this. If you want my opinion on what's happening with Dragon Quest, one, the game is going to be stacked and packed full of big content. They are taking this development from a game that was a PlayStation 4 game now to a fully featured, bigger PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, PC type of game. They are putting in new mechanics, new systems, new style of story, new type of things, and are also preparing for a worldwide release. Usually Dragon Quest games launch in Japan first. When it comes to the main ones, this one I think is going to be a worldwide launch. Dragon Quest XI sold a lot of copies overall, so I fully expect them to embrace the worldwide launch for this game. So that's going to take time, it's going to take a ton of effort, and it's going to take people working as hard as possible. And that's all Mr. Yuji Horii can say. Now, when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, this is the easiest duh that it really kind of has to come to the Nintendo Switch 2. If you look at the demographics and what's happening, Dragon Quest is always massive in Japan. It's one of the biggest things. It's like a holiday there. With the Nintendo Switch 2, that system is going to be the dominant system when it comes to sales based off of what we're seeing, what we saw really with the Nintendo Switch 1 and what we're seeing even not at this point. The PlayStation 5 is not really a factor there, and the Xbox Series is non-existent at this point. PC is rising, but it's still nowhere near as popular as what's happening with the Nintendo Switch when it comes to the core console base and what people are playing there outside of smartphones and all of that. So the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to instantly start off, and we saw what happened with the My Nintendo request, 2.2 million. There are lotteries that a lot of these stores are having just to give the most dedicated customers the first chance, because the demand for the Nintendo Switch 2 is so high in Japan, it's completely outstripping probably the supply that will be there, which there should be 1 million plus systems or so there. So this is probably going to be the biggest console launch of all time in Japan, or very close to that record the PlayStation 2 has. So with all of that being said, and what they've sold with Dragon Quest on Nintendo platforms, it absolutely has to be ready for the Nintendo Switch 2. So I do think that's going to happen. I think the reveal is going to be at a Nintendo Direct, and I think that it's going to end up being a multi-platform game overall, but the first reveal will be at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct at some point. Maybe that's this year, maybe that's next year, I'm not really sure, but I fully expect that to be a thing. So that is going to be really exciting as well when we finally see that game. All right, guys, got the last topic here. It has been a packed RPG video, and we're going to go a little bit more on Hogwarts Legacy for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, we did find out recently, I made a video about it, make sure you check that out, link in the description to my previous one, where I talked about the upgrade path that's going to be available for Hogwarts Legacy on the Nintendo Switch 2. We've got an update on that, plus footage that you guys are seeing showing off the Nintendo Switch 1 version versus the Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game, and there is no comparison here. The Switch 2 absolutely blows it out of the water and gets it closer to the PlayStation and Xbox versions of this game. The upgrade path is $10, and it actually works even physical. If you have the physical Switch 1 version, you can get that, go to the pre-order access thingy, and that will essentially get you the update. There's directions online as well to get that. Or if you buy the game on sale, it's on sale for $17 right now. You can just add $10 to that for the upgrade path, and it's a $27, $28 game. So there's plenty of ways to get it on the cheap and play it on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's a good game, and I think that the portable nature of the Switch 2 for an RPG like this game that has a ton of side quests and a lot of content, people can spend upwards of 70, 80 to 100 hours in this game. This would be perfect for Nintendo Switch 2. I waited to play it, didn't want to play it on Switch 1, a bit crusty, as you guys can see. So I waited for the Switch 2 to see if I can get it, and I think that at this price, it becomes a no-brainer for me. But some of the updates that they talked about recently, Avalanche and Warner Bros. Put out a little information on the game here with the Nintendo Switch 2 version, and essentially it's going to have mouse support, improved audio, load times, and controls have been updated for the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. So it's going to be more responsive It's obviously going to look better. It's going to load fast. There's going to be seamless transitions into the main areas, whereas before there used to be loading. So yeah, that is a huge difference overall. So I'm definitely going to be picking up the Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game, and good on them actually offering an upgrade path, because some developers are not from Nintendo Switch 1 to Nintendo Switch 2. So that's definitely a good thing overall. So what do you guys think about all the different topics that we discussed here? I loved it because there was so much RPG news, so much incredible, exciting Nintendo Switch 2 information to go over as we get closer and closer to the launch. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.